Avengers Doomsday is coming and it's coming in hot. We got these small trailers that came out last year to the beginning of this year, and one of them revealed that Chris Evans will be returning as Steve Rogers. But now, seemingly coming from comicbook.com, there's more rumors and more information coming out that he might not just be Steve Rogers, he's returning as Captain America himself. What could potentially be a huge spoiler as the character's fate in upcoming films are set to reboot the entire timeline of the MCU, and with Secret Wars said to be the biggest MCU film to date, one that will define the superhero genre, and that's no small reveal. So how exactly did Chris Evans spill the beans? Because I'm surprised he did that. I'm surprised Kevin Feige didn't snipe him. It was revealed in audio that shared to Instagram from user Comicsy, where the actor stated, "I can't give secrets. I can't. What can I give you though? I can tell you that I start work on the next one in a couple months. I can tell you that. Considering that Steve Rogers seems to always find his way back to the franchise, it's not entirely surprising that he'll be in Doomsday and return for Secret Wars." Which, personally, I wish he didn't say that because that's kind of a spoiler. But you know,
I like
it happens. Yeah. While it's a shock to see Doomsday's teaser featuring Steve Rogers not only riding a motorcycle down a road to leading to a farm, but holding a baby for all intents and purposes to be his own, his appearance alone isn't enough to derail Doomsday or whatever is going on with Sam Wilson as a new Captain America. There are tons of ways that Steve Rogers can come back. Steve Rogers in the comics has had so many different aliases, Nomad being one of his biggest ones, which I think is where they should go. Him having no country, I think that would be really cool. But you know, people have talked about him coming back as a Hydra variant. I mean, he might end up being the evil version, which was an awesome run in the comics and shocked everyone. And to have Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. being bad guys would be amazing. The old guard facing the new guard in multiverse battle. Says also it's what's worth noting that implies that shooting on Secret Wars will be happening before post-production has even wrapped on Doomsday, which is normal. They did that with Endgame and Infinity War. Bringing back the whole MCU cast before the next film is even in theaters. It's bound to be a time of rife with leaks and rumors, much like the run-up to the next 3 MCU films, including Spider-Man and everything else that's been coming out. Evan, how do you feel about Chris Evans potentially returning full-time as Captain America, not only in Doomsday but also in Secret Wars?
Yeah, you know, I feel similar to how you feel. I mean, I do want some surprises with these bigger movies, and there definitely will be. And you know, when you have the face of the franchise, there's no way in a culmination of everything that's happened thus far within Secret Wars, you're not going to use Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. in some capacity. So I guess we always knew it was coming, but hearing it from Chris Evans from like a cameo type app where it was to a fan and he's like, I'm going to be filming actually in the next few weeks. That was an interesting way to announce it so nonchalantly. But something that you mentioned that I really like, you know, one of the best movies arguably in the MCU is Captain America Civil War. And something that was so good about that movie is that it was so jarring and shocking to see our favorite superheroes fight each other for a cause that made a lot of sense on both sides. And it really made the stakes high and made you care and invested about what was going to happen. So if you can do the same thing for Secret Wars and have our old heroes become the villains against our new heroes and have those ties to the faces of the heroes that we loved from the OG MCU, it gives the movie of Secret Wars so much more stakes, so much more investment from the fans. And I think if it is going in that direction, we are in for a real big treat.
There's a theory that came into my head as you were saying that. Chris Evans returning as co-Captain America, let's say, in this new version. Working with Sam Wilson. Yeah, because that happens in the comics. They both are like, we're both Captain America. They usually don't deal with the same areas anyway, so that they could work. Right. But you know, I was talking about the surprise factor. What would be the surprise is, let's say, our version of Chris Evans, Captain America, Steve Rogers gets killed by the Hydra version. Let's say it's a multiverse variant that kills him, and that version leads into Secret Wars.
That would be cool.
It would add to, you talk about the stakes and the reasons and stuff like that. That would add the stakes even higher, right? Like our versions of characters are gone. We won't be bringing them back, but now we have these evil versions that the new characters have to take down. I think that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be so great if it's like some epic scene and Steve is back and he's like, Avengers, and then behind him it's like Captain Hydra ready to go, and it's like, whoa.
And he's like, Avengers, hail Hydra. Can you imagine if they ended a movie like that? People would lose their minds.
That would be amazing. But let me ask you, the ending of Endgame with Steve Rogers, with Captain America, was very satisfying. It was a very beautiful ending to finally be a little bit selfish and stay in the past with Peggy and start a family and have some kind of happiness that he never really chose for himself because he always put everyone else first. Yep. Do you think if that happens, it ruins that ending that they had originally set up for our Captain America?
Yeah, a little bit, but also at the same time, when it comes to like comic book character stuff, there's really no ending for them for a lot of times unless they die, and even then a lot of them get resurrected. So as a comic book fan, I'm okay with them. Like he got his time to chill, right? Yeah. But it doesn't mean that he gets to chill for the rest of his life, because there's always going to be some type of big bad or something that's going to be too big where they're going to need heroes to come through. So I'm okay with him leaving that situation. Even if my idea doesn't happen, him going back after this is done and going back to Peggy. He pops out, he helps everybody. His life is almost in peril. He makes it out and then he goes back and he gets to still continue to have his happy ending. It's like, okay, I don't help you guys anymore. I'm Goku. I'm dead. Gohan and Goten and the rest of y'all, get it together. I'm not doing this no more.
Yeah. No, I mean, all I know is that it's the writer of Endgame, Infinity War, Civil War, and Winter Soldier. I know it's not his other writing partner that they co-wrote those movies together, but he has lived and breathed these characters for so long. And what does it always come down to? It's writing. And I feel like if anyone can do it, because you best believe this is a big juggling act. If you're going to mess with how great those first three phases were, bring out those characters or actors, you got to land it, because you could not only screw up these coming Avengers movies, you could inadvertently screw up what came in the past. Yeah. And that would be really bad. I don't think that will happen, I'm saying, but you best believe it is a huge undertaking and they got some work to do. So
everyone is betting against the MCU right now. People don't think Doomsday is going to do well, which is insane to me.
Really?
So, yeah, like listening to a lot of people, they feel like because of Dune, because of the diminishing returns of the MCU recently, they feel like Doomsday is a chance that people just might be checked out because they haven't been watching the movies. They're not invested in the shows. They feel like it might be a nostalgia grab bringing back Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans. So there's a possibility. I do think once they drop that first teaser, like the full real teaser, all these worries and everything will just be gone, because look at Spider-Man Brand New Day. A lot of people were like, oh my God, where's the trailer? And then now it's the highest viewed trailer of all time. And everybody's like, amazing. Oh, yay. Oh,
it was incredible.
Yeah. So
one trailer, you're right, can quiet a whole haters, all the haters. Like one trailer can quiet the whole haters. I'm going to call them whole haters instead of high haters. All right. So let us know what you guys think, though. What do you think about Chris Evans in a cameo type role or cameo type app or whatever it is, letting a fan know he's shooting Secret Wars in a couple weeks? And how do you think he will play into the overall story of Secret Wars? drop a comment below and let us know your guys'